Morena e Huama. So, here we are, our assessment. This video is limited to 15 minutes, so I'm probably going to just focus on parts 1 and 2. And once we get closer to the presenting our information or presenting our research, I'll come back and really unpack the essay or the report that you're going to have to write. So you'll see under internal assessments, I've put in our internal work. I've broken it down into just the information and then the 3 parts. Really this week, we need to have come up with our hypothesis and started finding our sources. So let's just start with the introduction to the standard. So you guys can open this alongside me. If you'd like, you should be coming back and referring to this. So it's important to note that this is critical analysis to form an informed understanding of literature and or language using critical texts. And so what you're going to be doing is picking a piece of literature and or language, but we're going to pick a piece of literature and we're going to come up with our own analysis or our own thesis or our own hypothesis. So that is inspired by some kind of lens, critical theory lens, and then use research about texts, so critical texts, to either prove or disprove our hypothesis. So we're looking at experts to see if they agree with what we think about the text or whether they disagree with us, now that we've analysed it through that particular lens. So if we start here, you should, in theory, not need to put your name on this because I've already done so by giving you this document and by doing it digitally. So just steps to follow for this assessment. You're going to choose an aspect of a text we've studied this year. So you should have your text chosen because this should be the text that you're going to do your exam on, because it's going to be really good exam prep and revision, as well as a way to start collecting maybe some critical theory to maybe you memorize a quote from one of your sources you find throughout this assessment to input into your essays so that you can show that you really know your stuff. But you're going to choose a particular aspect of the text, for example, character or setting or theme, and you're going to form your hypothesis thinking about this text through a specific lens. Then you will carry out extensive research to develop your understanding of the aspect you have chosen. So you're going to go and find 3 different critical texts, so sources that analyze your text and hopefully analyze the same aspect of your text. For example, if you're going to focus on character, you're going to look at a text that focuses on the character or on the theme or the setting, whichever you choose, or maybe it's the genre or the structure or the style, depending on what you want to choose. And you're going to find 3 sources that also analyze your text and compare it to your hypothesis. At the end of the research process, you are going to write a report or an essay, however you wish to format it, that outlines your findings. You're also going to need to evaluate and form conclusions and judgments based on your research. So as a part of the research process, you must research and take notes on 3 different sources. However, one might be paru, one might be crap, and you don't have to include this in your report or in your essay, whichever you write. They do need to be reputable sources, so I will give you a couple of sites or tricks through Google to help you find reputable sources, and you need to evaluate each of them. When it gets closer to the time, I'll do a mini tutorial on how to use the CRAP test. So you may have heard this last year if you were with me. So we look at a source to see if it's good crap or bad crap. So good crap means that it's current, it's it's relevant, it's the person who's speaking has authority to do so, and it's fit for purpose, or its purpose is to inform rather than persuade. Because it's level 3, we're also going to add an extra A, so it's going to be current, relevant, accurate. So does it align with what other people say? Do they have authorities to speak on this, and the purpose? So we're just going to add in that extra A, but I'll show you how to do that closer to the time. What you'll do after that is you'll process and synthesize your information from your experts with evidence from your chosen text and reach evaluative conclusions and judgments. In other words, is what the critic's saying supported by evidence from the text? And one of the sections I've set up for you so that you can do that just in your logs or in your source notes. And you might critique them. So do you think they're being, you might critically respond by challenging them, for example, or agreeing with them, or evaluating how well their analysis is, just like we have done for everything else. We need to see that you've undertaken the research process. So just use the slide or the docs I've given you, and that will take you step by step to make sure that this is you take a systematic approach, which is part of the standard. So what counts as an appropriate critical text? So from NZQA, they say the critical texts themselves need to be appropriate to curriculum level 8. So this means they can't be something from Stuff or from Schmoop. Okay, they need to be thinking and analysis from experts. This means summarizing teaching notes such as Spark Notes or websites like Wikipedia, and other blog posts from other students or non-experts in the literary/language field are not appropriate as critical texts. So you need to be looking for published authors. So if it's been done in print, you know it's going to be a reliable, appropriate critical text. Academic websites such as Epic or JSTOR are really good. It's really important to note that so through school we have access to Epic. JSTOR, you're allowed 6 free articles per month. If you download any more than that, you'll start having to pay. You only need 3, so you shouldn't have any problems with that, but just don't go downloading every single thing you find. Do a quick skim and just be really careful. Google Scholar is also really good to use. So instead of just your regular Google search engine, you're going to use Google Scholar. Look for reputable publications such as the New York Times, BBC News, The Guardian. They might be good sources. And you can find things on Google, but need to just do a little bit more research and find out that they are reputable by using words like academic or analysis of. So those might be some key search terms to include. For example, academic nosedive Black Mirror, okay? And that will lead you to a particular article if you take a look there. So you can see that once I've gone and found this, I've gone and done a little bit more research about the source before I've used it, because I've only got 3. So I went and found out who the Atlantic are, and they're an established American magazine and a multi-platform publisher. So it suggests they're reputable and they're probably a safe bet. So if you're in doubt, just check in with me. Okay, so inappropriate choice of source is the biggest contributing factor to not achieving this standard. So do make sure you pick the right sources before you waste time doing notes. You'll be assessed on how well you show an informed understanding of the primary text. So if you're doing handmaids, or you're doing How to Tell a True War Story, or the things they carried, make sure you've got the text with you, because you're going to be needing to find your own evidence that supports what they're saying as well, or disproves, to back yourself up. So task 1 is choosing your aspect that you want to find out more about. So number 1 is picking the text and then picking the aspect. So are you wanting to look at character? Are you wanting to look at theme? Are you wanting to look at the setting? Are you wanting to look at language features? One way that you might do this is think, okay, I'm really interested in the psychoanalytical stuff, so maybe I'm going to try look at my character and something to do with nightmares or their dreams, for example, or maybe I just want to to just find out, is this a psychoanalytical text or is this a Freudian text? And you're going to phrase it as a sentence. So, for example, The Handmaid's Tale is a feminist text, and you're going to find 3 sources that also analyze this text, and perhaps you're trying to find out whether they're going to agree or disagree with you. The Handmaid's Tale adequately reflects the 1980s society. So that would be another really good hypothesis. This would be, if you're thinking about those critical lenses, it doesn't mention any lens, but if you think about it, the person who created this statement, for example me, might have been thinking about the new historicism lens, okay? The Handmaid's Tale explores the idea of female oppression. Theme, and that's fine. Going thematic is probably the easiest way, and you don't necessarily have to think about any response, any particular lens when doing this. It is just something to add that extra layer. Offred is a disappointing protagonist. That might be something interesting to look at, or perhaps Offred is an interesting anti-hero, for example. The Handmaid's Tale is a reflection of our society. The lottery deals with the capacity of ordinary people to do extraordinary evil. The things they carried accurately portrays the reality of the Vietnam War. How to Tell a True War Story deals with the slippery nature of truth. And the conclusion of Nosedive can or cannot, and you would pick one, you can't have both, be considered a happy ending. So that might be... This is really step 1 that I need to sign off pretty early in the piece. By the end of this week, you need to have picked your text, your aspect, and formed your hypothesis. You might need to start just with a general topic, like Offred's character, themes, The Handmaid's Tale, symbolism, and The Handmaid's Tale, and then narrow this down and research as you read. So once you start doing your research, you won't just put in your hypothesis. You will put academic analysis, Offred's character, Handmaid's Tale, for example. And then you'll go and find stuff that works for you. So you're going to have to find and read at least 3 critical works, use 2, and then present your findings in a report or essay. You must include a bibliography and use APA referencing accurately. Again, there'll be some sort of tips and tricks on how to do that. So this week is part 1, and you'll need to frame your inquiry. So pick your topic, such as The Handmaid's Tale and Offred, and then you're going to jot down in bullet points everything you know or everything you can think of about Offred in Handmaid's Tale. And then you're going to form your hypothesis. This is really what I need done this week, or as soon as possible. And the workshops, I will be here to help you turn your topic and your background knowledge into a hypothesis. That's what those mini workshops are for. Moving on to part 2, this is when you're going to complete your research. So once you have picked your topic and you are finding your sources, you are going to be putting your research into the tasks below. Look, I've got some information or some practice stuff for you to do if you'd like. If you do this, please assign me a comment so that I can go and give you feedback. However, if we just get started, you'll put in all of your source details, remembering that you're going to need to know the title, the author, who's the publisher, when it was published, and perhaps if you know anything about their credentials. So any source details. You're going to find information from the source that relates to your hypothesis, either proving or disproving, for or against. You're then going to do your crap test here, or you might leave it blank for now, but this is probably where you're going to be able to do nice and easy, is go back to the original text and give quotes and evidence from the text that back up what your secondary source said. So remember, the original text is your primary source, secondary source text is your critical text. And then you're going to critically respond here. your evaluation, I'll do a mini workshop sometime or a mini video explaining how to do the CRAP test here. And you're going to do this 3 times. Look, ask questions and email me if you need some help. Look forward to seeing you.